shit.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Code, DC, UPenn's finest, Chris Coacher, CB Coach Boy. We got another great episode for you guys today. We are, of course, going to be talking about the Week 12 in the NFL up to this point. Obviously, this is before Sunday Night Football per usual and before Monday Night Football, so we'll be talking about that on the later episode this week. But we will be talking Thursday Night Football, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock slates, of course. And then we're going to preview Monday Night Football as we promised on last episode. We will be talking about that, the HARBOWL, all the implications that game will have and what we're looking to see. But of course, before we get into that, I want to remind you guys, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on audio, leave a like, 5-star review, download the episode if you really enjoy it, and leave a comment if your platform allows for it. But of course, we get every episode kicked off. On every single episode, you will see me wearing some kind of hat, whether it's a snapback, whether it's a dad style hat. I always got to have something to complete the outfit. And the only place where I get my hats is lids.com. Lids.com has so many different brands. And of course, they have a bunch of different styles. Like I just said, it could be dad hat, snapback. It could be fitted. It could be Velcro back. Whatever you want, they got it. And with the NFL season coming up, I know you're going to want to rock and represent your favorite squad. Me personally, I'm a big Eagles guy, and I love this 47 brand throwback hat that I got from lids.com. Or if you're more of a snapback guy, I also got this NBA champions Boston Celtics new era cap from lids.com as well. If you like either of those hats and you feel like you want one to represent your squad, click the link in the description below. Whether it's new era or 47, both links will take you right to lids.com. And the best thing about Lids, they always have some type of deal going on their website. So make sure you click that link and check out any deals they got going on at lids.com. With Summits and Plummets, I'll swing it to Golf Boy, because that's what he was doing today. Instead of watching America's truly greatest game.
That would be golf, actually.
Incorrect.
Actually, golf is not America's game, so that's I like.
Okay,
right.
Look at you being so. How could you be so un-American on Football Sunday? Checks out. You're not a true patriot.
I'll play it. Oh, perfect summit. Going into that, I ran routes for the first time in a year.
Mind you, he got to run routes. Realize he should have never taken this great game for granted, and then doesn't watch our great game the next day.
You know what? I don't even know how much of the great game I'll be watching on Thanksgiving, because that turkey's going to put me out. We're going to play the great game, and then we're going to fall asleep, because the 12 o'clock and the 1 o'clock and the midday window are going to be
12 o'clock's going to be great. What are you talking about?
The 12 o'clock can be okay.
It's going to be good. It's going to be Lions Bears.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a good game. Bears play everybody hard. Lions are good.
Lions. The Lions. Yeah. But no,
nonetheless, midday nap, Cooper Rush, Tommy DeVito. We will be there.
We will be there for sure.
I'll be watching Neighbors v. Lamb, so I'll be there. They both get 4 targets apiece, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know if the quarterbacks are capable of giving them the ball enough.
But yeah, Summit is, I ran the routes. Feel good.
You did do that.
And I can't complain. No soreness afterwards. Like, this is going to sound weird. My knee gets more sore after playing golf than it does running routes.
It's a lot of walking around.
It's a lot of torque on your knees too, on your upper body, torque.
It's like your body is yearning for you to focus more on the great game of football instead of golf. Your body just naturally goes towards the pigskin, I'm afraid. We can move on to your plummet.
The plummet of the week. Double summit this week. Jared McCain.
So
Rookie of the year.
Okay. Shout out to him, man. We love Jared McCain around here.
He is doing things as a scorer that the last person to do it was Michael Jordan, to put it as simple.
Yeah.
He is he is baby Steph Curry. He said he kind of idolized him, loves Steph Curry. If Jared McCain can become Steph Curry and the Sixers have a 20-year-old that shoots 45% from 3, I would say trade Embiid, build around these two guys, get 2 wing defenders that are just ballers, trade back for Matisse Thybulle, get him in there, play.
Nah,
I'm playing.
That would set the franchise back.
I'm playing. But
how about this elite defensive wing who can be trusted bringing the ball up the court and is an elite playmaker.
Luka
6'10"
Doncic.
with the handle.
Oh,
Ben Simmons. Can I interest you in that?
DFS actually. No, I like
Dorian
DFS
Finney-Smith for Joel Embiid straight up. Who says no?
Not me.
But yeah, Jerry McCain is like Troy Bolton, like 200% maxed out.
Man, you took that straight from Twitter.
I did. And what are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna support it.
Okay. Mind you, Danny has not watched football today. I'm gonna say that going into this episode. Take everything he says today. Take everything he says today with a grain of salt.
That's not true.
He did not watch our great game today, fellas.
I watched the entire 4:00 slate.
Oh yeah, who was the left tackle for the Raiders today?
I don't know who the left tackle for the Raiders is.
Anyway, we can go on over to Chris.
Colton Miller, maybe. Don't quote me on it.
I don't know what that is. But I will say the first summit is that Luka and Embiid are finally receiving the hate they deserve, and I love to see it.
They deserve.
Yes, the hate they deserve.
Oh, ball knowledge right there. I'm sorry.
I'm starting to see the hate I deserve.
Ball knowledge right there. Colton Miller's the left tackle for the Raiders.
Quote
me on that there.
But yes, I'm happy that Luka and Embiid are getting the hate they deserve. People are starting to see them for the lazy losers that they are, and it's making me feel good. So yes, for that. That's my first summit. And Plummet is that the wing season tickets are already sold out. So unfortunate for me, I will have to just catch a game. I won't be able to get season tickets yet, but I can get on the wait list for $50, which I think is worth doing it. So I'm going to do that. But Plummet, I even have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Bo, you can schedule it out. Obviously, you got to catch one when Asia's in town.
Oh yeah, that's mandatory.
When Angel's in town, and then when Clark's in town. Those are like 3 you could probably circle.
And I need to see what happens with Alyssa Thomas, Dewana Bonner, because I'm hearing that one of them or both of them may like ask out or leave as a whole. Because I know Dewana's up, so I'm looking to see that. But yeah, I'm trying to like section it out now. Try to see who else, and then see who else gets whatever draft picks too, or see who may go where, so I can see if it's like a backcourt or something I want to see too.
You know what I think they should do? Their NBA Women's All-Star Game should be played in a city that doesn't have a WNBA team. So like they should host it in Philly.
I think that would be cool too, low key.
Because then like it's like a precursor for the team to like have.
How they did that game at the Celtics arena too. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that could work, but it would have to be cities like Philadelphia,
teams
Boston,
that have an NBA team,
like teams that are that could be in line. St. Louis, not a second. I mean, New York could be another one.
For some reason, I keep seeing Baltimore,
Tampa Bay,
Seattle.
Seattle. Well,
Seattle got one though. Yeah,
they have a team, but
But
I guess
Seattle
it would still bring some, I don't know, an exciting event to Seattle.
Seattle doesn't have
San Diego, Sacramento. Sacramento's an amazing basketball town. So
what they can do
like the
notice I said town. San Antonio.
Man, keep them out.
Keep San Antonio out.
San Antonio's for Wemby only. And Keldon Johnson.
Speaking of Wemby, that actually is my summit. Him and Stephon Castle have the hardest duo nickname in the game.
Maxie McCain.
Have y'all seen it?
Eminem.
Not touching Area 51. Not even close. Area 51 for Castle and Wemby. That's perfect. That's so unbelievably perfect. No duo is touching
Castle. What does Castle contribute to Area 51? He's not like
he wears number 5. And Wemby's the alien, and they're Area 51 because they're both insane defenders. Eminem, like that's not creative. I hope you know that, like at all. Area 51, like man, that's genuinely creative.
Jaden Daniels and Noah Igbenogany, Area 51.
You just had to Google that so you could get your own laugh off. Are you like that upset that Wemby and Castle like absolutely mog your backcourts in the game?
I love both of them, dude.
Yeah, okay. Now you're gonna admit that Area 51 is better than Eminem because it like objectively is.
Okay. Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Eminem's fire though.
It is fire, but like you trying to say like Area 51 like isn't that fire is that you were trying to play it off at first that it wasn't that fire. Like we're not doing that. You try to say Stephon Castle doesn't. No one would have thought of the nickname if Stephon Castle wasn't balling as of lately. And I know it's true because Chris would admit it, and he for some reason isn't that big of a fan of Castle. But he's been balling.
Of Stephon Castle?
Yeah, I would say like he's balling lately, and I feel like you would say that as well. I think he's doing really well, as Chris would say, next to Chris Paul instead of behind Chris Paul.
That's all I wanted. He looks very good there. That's all I wanted.
CP0, baby.
I guess my whole summit has to do with Spurs basketball. One, Spurs basketball is hella back, and two, stronger than backup quarterback juice, stronger than interim head coach juice. You have Chris Paul on team with no expectations juice. When he got to the Thunder, when he got to the Suns, bro, he just changes things. And he's doing it again in San Antonio. Where they were dead in the water against Golden State. Him, Wemby, Castle turn it on. They win the game by 10. Absolutely insane game. So I really, really enjoyed what the guy going on over there. Mind you, that was with no Sohan. That was with no Vassell, I'm pretty sure, as well. So I'm just super stoked for the Spurs because, I don't know, I need another fix. The Celtics kind of like, they make everything too easy. So, like 14-3, the 3 losses, like I'm legit like not even batting an eye at it. We're getting Kristaps Porzingis back in like a month. I just need a challenging fix, and the Spurs are kind of just right there.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we can get into some NFL football. We can start with the Thursday game, which was Danny Steelers losing to the Cleveland Browns in the winter wonderland of snow.
Let me be as simple as possible. The Pittsburgh Steelers outgained the Cleveland Browns. They won the turnover battle against the Cleveland Browns. They won the third down efficiency battle against the Cleveland Browns, but they lost the football game. And it's one of those games. The Browns were perfect on fourth down conversions. It looks like if you're watching the game, it felt like the Browns had every single big play go their way. So I truly expect the Steelers to, when they play them in 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, to beat them down. Because it's at home, number one. You're not playing in the snow, number two. Number three, you don't have to. They might play in the snow. You never know. But they outplayed them the majority of the game. The second half, Russell Wilson was fantastic on third down. He made throws. I mean, he underthrew Calvin Austin for a touchdown. But he also threw a touchdown to him, which is a great throw. The Steelers' run game needs to be better. You need to find a way to minimize Myles Garrett. But outside of that, like, they didn't do anything glaringly wrong. They turned the ball over in the red zone when they're in what we like to call the black zone. When they're in your own inside your own 20. I don't know if you ever heard that term.
I have never heard that saying before in my life. I'm not gonna lie.
That's an internal. That's what we used to call it internally, but call it the black zone. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this. I just think that the Browns were making plays when they needed to be made.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, I'll say my main takeaway from this game. Again, I see the Steelers as tier 1 contenders. Again, I agree with you. I thought Russell Wilson played a really good game. I thought the defense was fine for the most part. I mean, Jameis and the Browns, they made some very critical plays, and the Steelers just weren't up to par on those plays. But I mean, for the most part, I thought the Steelers played fine. I still see them as contenders. I'm still going to hold them to that standard. So this is a bad loss, but I expect them to fully bounce back. So I don't really have too much to take away. I don't like to play the hypothetical game. Oh, if this guy started the whole year, then we'd be here. But Jameis is 2-2 as a starter. This previous game was his worst output yards-wise.
He looked efficient.
And that still would have been better than any game Deshaun Watson has played this year. So as the Browns, and I think, believe it, what the Giants just did with Daniel Jones, they're like, you know what? It's too bad. We're just going to have to eat the money. Now, Deshaun Watson, it's a little bit of a different beast with that money in dead cap that you're going to have to eat. But you might just have to do it. Like, I think seeing the Giants do it, hopefully will make that decision a little bit easier for Cleveland.
I don't know. They're in the same spot, though. 2 years deep out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 years of some pretty serious stuff, but especially because they kept restructuring and putting it back. So it's like you still kind of basically got to pay the whole contract. But I guess with Jones, it's like, oh, they cut him and all his backups are bad. Locke's bad, DeVito's bad, Tim Boyle's bad. Now that they brought him along, and they still cut him. But what could make it a little easier is that, like, oh, we cut him, we cut Watson. We're gonna be in a horrible cap situation, and we'll have this nice little bridge situation going on with Winston, where we probably won't make playoffs. Maybe he'll make us like semi-competitive. We can play spoiler sometimes, and then you're in line for Archie Manning.
What if I told you that Jameis Winston is going to enter his Geno Smith career arc?
He unfortunately okay. Could he become a Pro Bowl level quarterback? Okay, the idea that Jameis Winston becomes a Pro Bowler, there's a world just because of how
I believe it.
How much he puts the ball in the air. It's a matter of how many interceptions he's going to throw. If he could throw like 30 touchdowns and maybe like only 12 bigs,
so
that world
easy
exists.
For.
Now,
so easy.
But he can't replicate what Geno does specifically, is because Geno, when he was a pro, dude, he completed like 70% of his passes. That's so ridiculous. He was like and it wasn't like he's like Dick and a duck. Like Geno Smith, his Pro Bowl year was legit, and he still is, and we'll talk more about him later. But I don't know. That's kind of just my takeaway. The combination of Daniel Jones getting cut, Jameis playing good, should make the Browns not fear eating this money. You're gonna have to do it anyway. Do it with him off the team. Do it with him with the vibes high, with Jerry Jeudy playing the best football of his career with Jameis, and Njoku getting involved way more. Like, Njoku is like a good tight end when he just doesn't have Watson throwing it to him. Chubb scored 2 touchdowns. While Chubb didn't play great, Nick Chubb touchdowns are always good for the vibes in Cleveland. A Nick Chubb touchdown kind of hurts you a little different nowadays. So, Chris, do you have anything to add on about your 2 AFC North division rivals and their winter wonderland Snow Bowl?
A great day for me, by the way. Steelers lose, Browns meaningless win. Great day for me.
Ruin their draft stock.
Slow down there. You got the HARBOWL Bowl.
No, I don't care about that.
QB2 is coming for Lamar.
There's no QB2 not named Lamar Jackson, unfortunately. But also, I think really what this was just a team coming off a good win and then the team just needing to win. And needing to win in the sense of Myles Garrett has something to prove. I really think he just wrecked the game in all reality at all the right times. I think that's really what it was. And the Steelers still could have won. I think it was just one of those games where you just get the juice from just whatever reason they have. It had a little extra motivation. They ended up pulling the close one out. Where the Steelers obviously didn't play their best ball. So I don't think it's like we should be worried about the Steelers type of game or anything like that. I think it was just one of those. Like after a high, you just go out and lose one of those. So I think they're still good and everything like that. I think it's just one of those games.
It's funny you say that Myles Garrett had something to prove, and he really wrecked the game because he did.
We talked about it too, all before and after.
He got a double team or chip every single play. Every single play, he had at least 3 or 4 hands on him.
Thomas said it at halftime too. When they asked him, they were like, "What can you do to stop Myles Garrett?" He was like, "We can't do anything else schematically." He's like, "We're doubling him, we're chipping him," and he just shrugged. I've never like that was just the most way to admit it. Like, I mean,
and I think at least for the Steelers, not that they contain the Myles Garrett, it's just not possible. But I think the reason they can try to build a game plan that strong is because they have one of those on their team. His name's TJ Watt. So TJ just has it a little bit easier because he is Highsmith and Herbig, whereas Garrett just out there 2018 LeBron in this defense. So but again, I think Steelers will bounce back. I think the Browns have a little bit of good juju to their team right now. So hopefully they can build off of that. Now we can move on to the 1:00 slate today that had 2 hilarious endings. We can start Cowboys Commanders. I'm going to ask both of you. I want to ask you guys on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 is we can just ignore this game. 10 is these dudes might miss the playoffs at this rate. What's our panic scale for the Commanders?
10 is miss the playoffs, right?
10 is like, yeah, they're going to like reverse run the table and this thing's going to blow up in their face.
I guess it's 6.
Okay.
Look, they lost 3 straight. 2 were against, let's say, the first tier or first and cusp of second tier teams.
Like the top 8 to 10 teams in the league.
Exactly. And
Eagles,
then
Steelers.
the other one is a division rival who has owned you for the last 15 years. And look, I'm not gonna be like, Brian Robinson got hurt, blah blah blah. Jane Daniels simply did not play great today. Terry McLaurin got them into the game at the end of the last play. Terry had an 80-yard touchdown and the kicker sold. They played flat in the fourth quarter, and even playing flat, even giving up a Kevontae Turpin Madden spin
ridiculous return by Turpin. I mean, what a move, dude.
Deshaun Jackson, who?
Yeah, dude, that's just like in terms of sickness and aura, that's one of the best returns I've ever seen.
He picked the ball up with one hand.
Oh yeah, that's aura.
You're crazy to do that.
He picked it up with one hand and then hit the nastiest spin move I think I've ever seen in my life.
Bro, it looked like the college football animation where you're running one way, and he's like, oof, and he's like,
that was a Judkins spin, dude.
Yeah,
that's what that was. Chris, what's your? Or I was like, Danny, I didn't mean to cut you off. If you have more to say about them,
no. I just think that the Commanders, they're not done, right? Like they're 7-5, but I think they're falling back to reality. They're a wild card team. They were outplaying their expectations. 7-2 was never real. They were really never 7-2. They got lucky and beat the Bears. Think about it, they should have been 6-3. 7-5 is really lucky at this point. Think about it, they should be 6-5.
They could be 6-6 right now.
6-6.
They could be a 500 club.
They are they're a 500 club that has got a lot of breaks go their way, and this is not a knock on them. Everyone.
We thought that we were
4 games.
We thought they were winning 5 games this year, max
4 or 5 games max, right? So it's not a knock on them. I think that they make the playoffs. The remaining schedule, this does not look easy though.
They do have the Eagles one more time. I believe they have the Commanders, or they have the Cowboys again, but. I'm hoping they could, play the Cowboys.
They got the Saints. Team. They got the Saints. They got the Falcons. Both of them teams are going to play them hard. The Saints are a gritty team. The Falcons are a playoff team at this point. So they're going to need to sneak out a gritty win or two if they're going to make the playoffs, because 9 wins might cut it in the NFC.
LeBron is at the Eagles-Rams game. I'm
going
to need Jalen Hurts to be on his best behavior. But I can go to Chris. Chris, what's your panic scale looking like for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders?
4. The only reason it's so low is because I think they're a team that had a bunch of good breaks go their way early in the season, and now the last 4 or 5 weeks just look like a team that's had bad breaks go their way a lot of times. Just some of those games where they could have easily won, easily lost. It's just now it seems like it's breaking to the other way this time. And again, you have a rookie quarterback too, so I mean. The 7-2 start was really, really good, but I mean, still being 7-5 with a rookie quarterback with the team that you put together outside them, overperforming in the beginning, I think you're still sitting in a pretty good spot. Like Danny said, 9 wins could still get you in the playoffs. I think they can still get to 10 wins, and if they get to 10 wins, they should be in. I think that should be the goal now, to get to 10 and try to get into that playoff picture that way. But yeah, I'm not necessarily worried. I think it's just a first-year team put together as far as a lot of the important pieces, and then you got a rookie quarterback. But the one thing I am keeping my eye on is just the Kingsbury curse, but the Kingsbury deal where you talked about it all throughout the beginning of the year. Just kind of saying you're going to wait till the second half of the season to see him. And I think he's still been calling pretty good games as a whole. I don't think he's been bad, but it's just the losses. I mean, the wins haven't been the win column, so you still got to look at that pretty close.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more worried than I would say you guys are. I'm leaning more towards a 7-8. And it's not the offense. I completely agree with you, Chris. Kingsbury isn't necessary, because Kingsbury isn't the coach, so he's just a play caller. And they had to find. Okay, they were a little flat. Third quarter was awesome. Late in the fourth quarter was awesome. Eagles, they had a rough game. Steelers, they still put up 26, 27 points against what most people would say is the best defense in the NFL. But this defense is horrible. This defense got thinking of some of their best performances, they got an inconsistent Cardinals team. They absolutely shut them down. Who else did they get? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but more so than this offense, this defense was entirely overperforming. Then you go like the Steelers put up 28 on them. The Eagles put up 27 on them. And the Cooper Rush-led Cowboys gave you 30. Granted, we have a kick return and an onside kick return. But that offense has no business driving the field on you guys. Like, they have no business putting up points on you guys. They put up 6 points against the Eagles. The week after that, I can't remember what they... Every time Cooper Rush is in the football game, people are like, please put Trey Lance in. That's the type of offense that you just let beat you. Granted, Cooper Rush has some pretty nice throws today. But that's an indictment on your defense. And I'm really starting to get worried because
Lattimore
in the season, Lattimore hasn't even played a game for them yet. So I don't want to pin him as the savior, especially this version of Marcus Lattimore, who's still really good.
Yeah, Marcus Lattimore's still
but it's a little bit more than that. It's like you're starting to get the film. It's like, okay, we can expose Bobby Wagner over the middle in the pass game because he hasn't been able to cover nothing since I was in high school. And it's just this defense is probably going to sell it for him down the stretch. Clint Kubiak and the Saints, when they're healthy, draw up phenomenal game plans. Falcons are about as hit or miss as an offense as it gets. But when they're hitting, certainly the Washington defense is someone that they can beat up. You'll see the Cowboys again, who I guess aren't a slated win. You just lost at home to them after a 5-game losing streak. You have to see the Eagles again. Granted, it's at your place, but that's like down the road. So the Eagles fan, you thought Steelers fans made the trip. Eagles fans are going to make the trip. I'm not feeling great about them. I think they'll still get into the playoffs, but I could see this thing getting real ugly real fast. Like if they won today, I'm feeling great. They're 8 wins, but their defense is imploding in a way that I kind of saw coming. So that's at least my thoughts on that. Well, we can skip over to the other really good 1:00 game, Bears Vikings. So the Vikings, for those who didn't get to catch it, Vikings up. I believe it was 11 points, 10 points. Late, Caleb Williams throws a "Is this the dagger?" touchdown, and they bring it within 3, and they get the octopus. They're down 3, whatever. They get the onside kick. Caleb throws a ridiculous deep down the middle layered throw over 2 defenders between the coming down safety to DJ Moore. They get the kickoff. They go to OT. But now everything's not sunshine and rainbows for Caleb Williams from a statistical standpoint and probably like playmaking standpoint. Easily his best game. This is the Caleb Williams I've been waiting to see, and we've seen flashes at this point. This is the best, well put together game. And this new offensive coordinator, the new play calling is clearly done wonders for him. He's touched every blade of grass in this game. He took an egregious second down sack in overtime that lost him the game. So I don't want to pin this as an A+ game for Caleb Williams because that play was so unbelievably bad. But this defense is not, it hasn't been what is advertised. The main thing is that Caleb had his best day against Brian Flores. The boogeyman. Caleb had his way. And that is as good of a sign, even though the Bears lost, I think, we can kind of put the playoffs on the back burner and just focus on the development of Caleb Williams as a normal rookie deserves, even though I still expected them to make the playoffs. This is a little underwhelming, and Caleb has been underwhelming, but this is something we can build on. I don't know if any of you guys caught this game. Did you guys have any thoughts?
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it. Contrary to your initial reaction, I did watch some things while golfing.
You were on the Real Sports app, buddy. You were,
and I was watching. I was switching back between YouTube TV. I have YouTube TV. Let me.
My fault.
LeBron. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
That one, second one. Yeah.
Yeah, the one against the Nuggets.
But yeah, I'll tell you this. I think we're finally starting to see Caleb's jump, and I'll let you know who it comes down to. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a guy that every young quarterback would want to have. Short-handed receiver. gets a little bit of separation. He's going to make these tough catches. He's like, it's going to sound weird. He's like Rodgers, Devontae Adams. Like, he's just a guy that's like always there. You have trust in him.
He's like Zach Ertz.
Maybe Zach.
I'm not saying that about a receiver sucks. His hamstring's beyond cooked, so the separation thing is just non-existent, sadly. But no, I agree. I agree.
It's like he's just a reliable old friend. And Caleb he's starting to see these jumps. I want to see more consistency out of him. The Bears are going to have to play spoiler. Look, with the Bears schedule remaining and the Commanders schedule remaining, that game with the Hail Mary might have decided a playoff spot.
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to see the Bears will have to bounce back pretty strong. They have lost some crushing game. Like you talk about how the Commanders could be 6-6. The Bears could be 7-4 right now. They're a Hail Mary, a blocked kick, and essentially they had another kick blocked today. So you're just special team errors and your defense being doopy away from 7-4 and literally in the thick of this division fight. So
the Bears are closer to picking for Travis Hunter than they are for get Caleb Williams, Travis Hunter. I dare you.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Truth be told,
they got the assets.
Look, I would be more scared of Jalen Johnson and Travis Hunter as a corner duo, to be entirely honest with you.
Playing both ways,
that would still be sick.
Keenan Allen's old ass come out eventually.
Truth be told, if you need a receiver, you know where I'm going. But
I mean, they're not drafting Tet. Like,
that would be cool, though. That'd be really cool if they drafted T-Mac. I'm not going to lie.
DJ Moore gone.
No, he just signed a contract. He'll be all right. Nah, they probably wouldn't do that. They'd probably go like line, which is what they rightfully should do. Or they could draft Ashton Jeanty. But
Ashton Jeanty would be crazy. No,
that would be so crazy.
Swift has been awesome.
No, he is not.
He's been fine. He's
not good. He's not.
I mean, he's
good.
Like
in the pass game, it's a little different because he's already out in space. That's why I prefer the Roschon Johnson touches way more. But speaking of Swift, he did make a really good catch on a phenomenal Caleb Williams throw. On the rollout, Swift improvises, wheels up the sideline. I mean, I don't like Caleb was ridiculous, and it was a good catch by Swift. So I have to give credit where it's due. Chris, did you have any opinions on this one? Did you get to catch any of it at all?
Yeah, I seen a lot of the beginning, and then I saw like towards like the middle of the fourth quarter onto the end. I didn't see a lot from Jetta today, so kudos to the Bears defense, kind of keeping them under wraps for a good portion. I know I seen them make a big catch. I want to say in overtime or maybe fourth quarter, but they did a pretty good job keeping them in check. Just as far as this game goes, though, I don't know. I think I don't know. The Bears got some, I won't even say bad luck. Bears had some bad breaks. I guess things breaking their way, but at the same time, I think they have so many chances where they could have won games. But I think this was just a game that was well played and ended up just on the wrong side of it, honestly. So I think it's something to build on as far as just a good game as a whole, as a team. But yeah, I think like y'all said, kind of got to put the playoffs on the back burner and try to develop the young talent.
Yeah.
And get chemistry with the older guys.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, this 1 o'clock slate was awesome because we have another good game we got to talk about. Chiefs Panthers. That was so sick because I was like, I'm gonna put my usual Panthers hot on the back burner because it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs are probably gonna bounce back after a win and destroy them. Not at all. Bryce Young plays the absolute best game of his career. Not from like a number standpoint, turnovers. Nothing could phase this kid today. Blitz didn't matter, was pinpoint accurate. Any sort of pressure just wasn't getting to him. He was hitting over the middle, layer throws over the middle, deep down the sideline, crossing routes, you name it. Like he was making every single throw. And I think I finally have pinpointed the difference as to why this may be. And it's because he's dropping back faster. Everyone who watched Bryce Young at Alabama kind of knew he was super nonchalant in the pocket, didn't really get a deep drop. Deep drops made all the difference in the world. He could finally see. So he played an absolutely awesome game. And yeah, I said he played good, at least the best football of his career the past 2 weeks. And that was fine. That was good enough to like not get replaced. This is one of those games where it's like, okay, that was the number 1 overall pick. that was the guy that I said was better than Stroud, Richardson, and Levis. And to go along with what Stroud did today, Bryce Young's making me feel really good. And I'm not praising Patrick Mahomes. He finally had a normal Patrick Mahomes game. So, hoorah. But, did y'all get to catch any of this one?
Yeah, I did see a lot of good throws from both quarterbacks. I was surprised, to say the least. The Panthers put up a lot of fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their defense is so bad, but they did put up fight.
I didn't think that they were going to be putting up all this fight. I thought their defenses this year was going to be a lot better than they were. Probably due to a couple losses from certain players, but
injuries and all that. Yeah,
every team's going to have injuries. That's I will never blame injuries as a reason because every team has injuries. Every team has players.
Okay. No. Their only good defender. I know is lost for the year. This defense was already bad. No one was expecting this defense to be top 10.
I understand that, but I'm saying in general, you can't say oh, we would have been better if this player didn't get hurt because yeah, of course, but every team could say that.
Okay, but not every team gets hurt at the same rate. So I can see it on a player to player standpoint, not blaming injuries. Like how Joel Embiid is absolutely horrible in the playoffs. I'm not letting a injury be an excuse for a team though. It happened. The Sixers team right now, they're just banged up. There's just nothing they can do.
And then,
but McCain, the Panthers were going to stink anyway. So
McCain still puts up 18 points tonight, even though he shot 3 of 15.
Due for a stinker, but
18 points on 3 of 15. Yeah. So somehow,
we can go. Chris, did you get to catch any of this Bryce Young masterclass?
Yes, I did. I seen a little bit, a tad of it, and I really just woke up and seen him not messing up. He just wasn't messing up, and I think that's kind of what it was. He just gave them a chance to be in the game by just not turning the ball over, not making bad throws, using his feet when he needed to, not just to make a big play, but to even get out of bounds, get 2-3 yards. I think he just looked very calm and very prepared, and I think that's something he hasn't looked since he's been in the NFL so far. I think he's just been under a lot of pressure, just real figuratively and literally. So I think in that place, I think today just looked really comfortable. And I think, as you say, he looked like a guy you spend a top pick on today. And I think he went as toe-to-toe with Mahomes you can in a game like this. And like I said, just kept his team afloat. And I got to see Chuba Hubbard play football. So, I'm not mad at that. But yeah, I think it was a
Chuba Hubbard had an octopus today. Just saying. For those who don't know, octopus is when a same player scores the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
I didn't realize what that was.
Octohub.
And I get to watch after this. I get to watch Kyron Williams and Saquon Barkley.
I would say, first play of the game, Puka Nacua cooked Darius Slay. I mean, it was a hitch, but he made him fall. So, but yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. Bryce Young, what kind of went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes in the literal sense of the word. And one of my favorite comparisons for Bryce Young coming out was he's 50% Mahomes. The arm ain't as strong, and the creativity is good, but not that good, and the accuracy is good. But it's just Mahomes halved, if that makes any sense. I do want to say we keep bringing up the Sixers, but this one is truly key. Earlier in the season, people were just speculating that Bryce Young wasn't playing well because Tyrese Maxey took his girlfriend. He either got a new fix or he got over it. Because this isn't the same dude I watched the first 2 weeks.
He started listening to
kid. This is the kid that I watched at Alabama and said this is the best quarterback to ever put on a Crimson Tide uniform. That is who I saw today. I'm almost proud. It's like I'm watching my son out there. That's really what it feels like.
He listened to The Way Life Goes. You'll get over it. You'll find
he started listening to that real Uzi, that 20 minutes. And Kyron Williams is in the red zone. But one more really good game from the 1 p.m. slate was Titans-Texans. And this is kind of the big, same thing I asked about the Commanders. We're going to ask about the Texans. I don't know about reverse run the table, but 1 is, oh no, they're still contenders. And 10 is, if they get into the playoffs, they're getting smoked.
I bet it should be worried.
We can start with you. Yeah, Chris, how worried are we about Houston?
Very worried because this isn't the first year quarterback. Obviously, CJ Stroud hasn't been there for 12 years, but I think it's just not as good as I'd expected, and a lot as a lot of other people expected. I think the defense has shown up in times, but I think they haven't been as good as I may have expected them to be. And I think the offense hasn't been as dynamic, hasn't been as consistently dynamic as I think they could have been with the pieces added. Now, missing Diggs, I do understand that. But I think this team is more in trouble. Just being in the AFC as a whole, too. I think that is another thing, because if they have to see the Steelers or see the Ravens or the Bills or
They
the
wiped
Chiefs,
the floor with the Steelers, dude.
but I don't know.
They're not beating the Steelers. They're not doing it.
I don't know if this year is going to be one of those times. I think it's just
they wouldn't.
One of those.
They wouldn't. Where would Houston have the advantage on Pittsburgh?
Offense, the entire offense, every position offense.
Does the offense play the offense, or does the offense play the defense?
I just like the way they matched up with us last year. I just don't see us beating them.
Okay, so I'm going to break something down for you. One, this isn't last year. And two, where you guys are strong, they are weak. You have one of the best defensive lines in football. They have one of the worst offensive lines in football. That is an absolute matchup nightmare. That alone would probably win you the game. To go on top of that, you have a capable offense to go along with a bad defense. Their defense has just been – Anderson's been good. Stingley's been good. Rest of his defense has been subpar. So I'm truthfully on an 8 or a 9. I think their first round exits, if they make it, they'll probably end up winning this division. I'm not confident in them at all. If they're the 4 seed and they have to play the 5th seeded Chargers, they're smoked. Or if they have to play the Ravens, they're smoked. If they end up playing the Steelers, I think they're smoked. Like the line and the defense, like the two things you absolutely need in playoff football, are just not good enough for me. But Danny, what exactly is your panic scale on it, though, per se? Not necessarily just a matchup with the Steelers, but
I think I'm panicking as a 4. Look, they lost to a division rival. Been a bunch of division rivals that lost this week. We could say the same thing about the Steelers. They're 8-3. If their panic scale could be as pretty high too.
You're comparing apples to oranges. The Steelers just lost their first game in like 5 weeks.
Yeah, we were on a 4-game win streak. I agree. It's a little different, but I do think that the Texans have the ultimately higher ceiling. They have the ultimate highest ceiling out of all of these like tier 2 teams. And I personally, they're the best team in their division by a long way.
I ain't saying much.
It's not saying much, but like they should be hosting a home playoff game when it's all said and done.
2019 Eagles hosted a home playoff game,
and they almost won.
With Josh
McCown.
Josh McCown on the torn hamstring. Hell yeah.
That was Carson Wentz CTE game.
I hate Jadeveon Clowney, man. No, I mean, I guess
Carson
I can
Wentz,
understand.
I don't know if you remember this game, Chris. Carson Wentz was going to lead the Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know about all that.
Bro,
we were trying out Greg Ward, wide receiver 1, man. We were not winning no playoff.
Chris, let me put this in perspective. 8 receivers had 500 yards.
No receiver had 500 yards.
Oh, wait. 8 receivers had
first quarterback
400 yards.
Carson Wentz,
yeah.
First quarterback to ever throw for 5,000 yards and no 500-yard receiver. The
that
only
was something like that.
weapon
Sorry.
to get over 500 yards, it was Zach Ertz. He had like 800 yards or something. But that's Zach Ertz. So,
sorry about that. I knew it was something like that.
I definitely get your point on like the Texans have the highest ceiling. I'm just more so getting to the point of like, where's it been at? Because it all starts with up front, and their up front is just bad. To go along with Bobby Slowick's clear regression in play calling. I don't even want to say Stroud's regressed because I don't think that's true. But I think a mix of bad line. I really don't think he's regressed. I can call it a sophomore slump, but a combination of like predictable play calling to go along with a bad line. I mean, like what is a kid supposed to do?
I get what you're saying. His thought processing, like of where he's going. Maybe it's because of the bad line, but like sometimes it's pretty.
He's in panic mode a lot. He really is in panic.
He what does it kind of look like? Of Carson Wentz.
Oh, I was gonna say it reminds me of Bryce Young when he's constantly in panic mode. But now the Panthers
former number 2 overall pick Carson Wentz, by the way.
Yeah, but remember, never wrong, just early. Bryce Young is indeed better than CJ Stroud. But no, Stroud though.
Sorry.
Stroud, I don't think it's a him regression. I think like everyone around him just isn't what it was last year, specifically besides like Nico Collins, who just got better. Everyone around him is kind of not what it was. So I don't want to be too harsh on him, but yeah, there's a serious problem in Houston. Update on the live Eagles-Rams watch. The Rams fumbled, so the Eagles get the ball back, and Saquon Barkley hits a mean spin move. I love that guy.
Sorry,
to quickly wrap up.
Kyron got popped.
He sneaky did, but he also made Reed and Darius Slay run into each other. To wrap up some other games, the Buccaneers beat the crap out of the Giants. Baker Mayfield has one of his best games of the year. He actually didn't throw a touchdown, which is funny, but he ran for one. But Bucky Irving has a hell of a game. Mike Evans did his thing. The Patriots made the game interesting late, but nothing to write home about. Easily Tua's best game of the year. This was the Dolphins' offense that we just haven't been seeing all year. Like he's throwing with anticipations. We're throwing the swing routes. We're throwing all the quick stuff. Jalen Waddle had a pretty good game. He had 8 catches, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. Jonnu Smith had a really good game. Arthur Smith vindicated, by the way, for giving the ball to Jonnu and making Kyle Pitts block. HN had a good game catching and running. You know how he goes. And then, Lions, Colts, it was good there for a moment. Richardson, he'll learn the consistency one day. He had some really good plays in this one, but, overall, it's off the hands. It's miscommunications. I don't want to say it's like completely inaccuracy issues. It's just a lot for a young project quarterback. I think he's going to figure it out. And then as for the Lions, I want to say this about Jared Goff. We don't give Jared Goff like too many props on this show because we kind of like know what he is for real. Out of structure today, he was good. He had a throw. He got rushed to his left, which is completely unideal for him. He does not like throwing off his back foot. He quirks, throws it back to the middle of the field to Amon-Ra St. Brown, hits him completely in stride. It was gorgeous. I cannot even lie. He had a really good day today. So shout out to Goff. Sonic and Knuckles had a good game. It was kind of the whole crew today, if we're being honest.
I did want to note about the Miami Dolphins when we were speaking about them that they are a few Broncos losses away from making things interesting.
They're 5-6.
They're 5-6,
and they're right there.
Let me read you off the next few games, and let me see if they sound winnable. Thanksgiving against the Packers.
It's winnable, but I'm picking Green Bay. So that would put them at 5-7.
You got the Jets and the Texans.
They could win those. And I think I'd pick them.
And then they got the Niners, Browns, and the Jets to end the year. And
it's doable.
Maybe call me crazy.
It's doable, and I'm almost on
10-7.
Even though I said it was over 3 weeks ago.
Call me crazy. 10-7.
They could do it because the Dolphins' offense is so high octane. We just gotta see it healthy. And now now they have Jonnu Smith, who is now a really good tight end for this team.
Let's talk about
they're doing all this, and Tyreek isn't even kicking the door down. Like, Tyreek isn't even being Tyreek. Granted, that's how teams are scheming up for him. But if you keep doing that, Jalen Waddle's going to keep doing this. And Smith's going to keep doing that. And they're going to keep getting him into HN. And they're like, okay, let's back off. Now you're one-on-one with Tyreek Hill. This is what it goes in a whole circle when it comes to defenses. Of course, there is a way to plan around Tua. But when Tua's hitting his mark, hard team to stop.
Let's talk about one of the best breakouts and I love the prospect, and I love it even more each and every week. Chop Robinson.
Absolute
Chop
breakout.
Robinson is amazing. Granted, he is playing against the Patriots O-line. But you're playing against an offensive line that plays in the NFL. He is getting better each and every week, and I love to see it because he is fantastic.
Yeah, he really is. The one thing at Penn State where if I can promise you anything, he's going to be the first guy off the ball. he's now using that to his advantage against these tackles.
Man,
his slimmer, his bend, his hand fighting.
Abdul Carter is him 2.0.
I think Abdul Carter is a little bit tougher than Chop.
A little more grit. Yeah.
But we can move on to this 4:00 slate. Chris, what game did you want to start with? Because I'm gonna be okay. I didn't want to say Chris. That lock on the Niners might be your worst of the year. But in your defense, you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know Brock Purdy was out. I didn't know Brock Purdy was out.
We will grant you grace also because you hit your high of the Titans.
Oh, nice. See?
That was nice. So really, you had, truth be told, you really went 2-0 this week, right? I
didn't know Brock Purdy wasn't playing. Damn, I definitely would not have chosen the 49. I have no.
The Packers throttled them, so we don't really got to talk too much.
They got spanked up.
Talk to say if we want to start, we can start with Seahawks Cardinals. Cardinals 4-game win streak. They finally get our attention again, and then the Seahawks are like, yeah, we're actually a really good defense with a lot of really big names, and this is actually how we decide we're going to play football now.
The Seahawks have two of my favorite, like one of my favorite corner duos in Woolen and Witherspoon. I just like watching them dudes play.
Man, Woolen's not good at football.
I do like watching.
He got good ball skills. I like
that's something. Danny, stop hating on my takes. You keep coming off. Stop hating.
Sorry.
I like Woolen because he's tall. No, honestly, I think the only reason I really like Woolen is only because I like bigger corners that's athletes, and I feel like he has the tools. But I do see him get cooked a lot. That. But like at the same time, it's like, bro, at some point, like Brandon Stevens is good at coverage, but once you throw the ball, it's like he forgets to turn around and get it. Woolen's a really good athlete, but it's like sometimes he's playing corner, you think he's playing another position. But I think the Seahawks, I think they just, I don't know. I think they showed they were a good team today, or like
a good defense.
Yeah, a good defense. That's what I'm about to say, a good defense. But as I said last week, I don't like their offense because I like the weapons. I like JSN, I like Metcalf. I do not like Geno Smith in this. I like Geno Smith, but I don't like this version of Geno Smith this year. I don't think he's been my favorite. So it was a good win, I think, for the Seahawks because it was kind of powered by the defense. I think that's a big deal. It gave like nostalgia, Legion of Boom vibes. Not really with the
I feel that.
But just having the defense kind of carried them to a W. So yeah, I think that's what it was for me. Just one of those games. Not really too disappointing in the Cardinals either.
There was no offense in this game. Kyler Murray looked really bad. And I was starting to question, do they have a game plan out there? It feels like it's just like Kyler check down to running backs and find Trey McBride across the seam. And it's like, it feels like they're playing scramble ball. And I don't know if it's because Kyler Murray, the way he is, but like, it feels like they designed for him to just run around in circles and find for someone to be open, which I would love to see Kyler Murray sit in the pocket, sit back, and then take advantage, like more like what Lamar does, because Lamar has elevated his game by passing first 8% of the time and only running when he has to. And when he has to run, he's the best person.
Lamar almost doesn't run enough.
Second to none.
Yeah.
Second to one. Saquon Barkley. Sorry.
I mean, I really do agree. Kyler's never been great throwing over the middle. So I think that's one of kind of like the limitations of when you have to keep Kyler Murray in the pocket. He can't access all parts of the field. But I really would, I would just like some more creativity in this offense. I mean, you got guys who are capable of beating man coverage, Trey McBride, and Marvin Harrison Jr. But when people key in on that run game, when they can, relax on the box a little bit and just drop guys back and, outnumber you, it's a little difficult for any quarterback. I wouldn't even say Murray had like a horrible day. I mean, you have the miscommunication on fourth down that effectively loses them the game. But yeah, I mean, I would really agree. And then as for this Broncos Raiders game, another good Bo Nix performance. He's really starting to stack them. The Raiders, I don't know. Get ready to learn Shador.
You might got to swap teams. Put them in a more boring place. The Raiders can't be stinking of Las Vegas like this. Put them somewhere.
We're sending them to North Dakota.
Yeah. Oh, what's the most boring NFL city, y'all? What do you think?
The most boring NFL city.
Yeah, like all things considered, not just for the team and what they bring to the city, like just the city as a whole. Like even if the Bears were, if the Bears were
Green Bay's up there for sure.
I think Wisconsin.
Green Bay's up there. Pittsburgh got something to do. Philly's got something to do. Obviously.
Cleveland.
Who wants to go to Cleveland for vacation? Never hear someone say that?
Man, call me crazy. Detroit.
No, yeah, Detroit's not fun. It's not.
No. They have good pizza.
Some would say, but being a Chicago guy, I don't know if their pizza's that good.
Chicago's better.
Because you got Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, bro. And who eats that rectangle sideways BS? What is that?
Yo,
what is that Detroit style pizza?
Look,
actually
the
good.
corner piece on a deep dish will save families. It will save families, bro.
Yeah, y'all know ball for sure. My bad.
Oh well, I guess if we had.
To wait.
Green Bay's.
We're forgetting about a clear city.
Cleveland sucks.
It's Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, you do have the Speedway out there if you get bored.
Yeah, I guess those might be the 3 worst cities. Well, okay, hold up though. Indianapolis is cool because they host the combine, and that has aura. I think that alone can save it.
I forgot they did the football combine.
Washington D.C. also bad city.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Landover, Maryland. I guess you can call it.
Yeah. If you just take the hike up to Baltimore, one of the best cities. So
yeah, it's not a Utah on this list, but
Utah because they don't have a football team. Thank God.
Yes. What's the top 5 cities though?
Top 5 cities. We're gonna go
Atlanta,
Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
Yeah, those 3.
Miami,
sure. And I'm throwing Chicago in there. I'm throwing Chicago.
Chicago could be up there.
I would, but LA, Chicago.
Gotta start Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
Yeah.
Philly mid tier. Come on, Philly's awesome.
No, I mean, okay. I'm
talking like 7.
I'm talking clubs specifically here, and Drake has a song called Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
Oh no, of course.
The song is about him trying to get a stripper out of the club. It is the most Drake song ever, bro. But it's a banger. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really good. Back to football though. We should start our Monday Night Football preview of the newest edition of the HARBOWL. John versus Jim.
If I had a twin, I would still choose you.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing about these guys is, as Puka Nacua gets a catch on Quinyon Mitchell, because Puka's that guy. But I think the coolest thing about John and Jim, they're just brothers in the most literal term. Like they're doing a sit-down interview for I think like ESPN or whatever, and they're just bickering like kids. Like how it is supposed to be with your brothers and your family. Like they're mid-interview yelling to their dad, "Oh, dad, did I do that?" Like, I think that's the coolest part about it. And to top it all off, these are 2 of the best football coaches in the NFL. Chris, what do your Ravens need to do to put pressure on the Chargers defense and then limit what has been an absolute heater of Justin Herbert as of lately?
Have you ever seen Enchanted? It's a way that y'all can swap souls, and they have to be blood. If you go and John and Jim switch, wow, and then Jim coaches the Ravens and John coaches the Chargers, we'll win by 30. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, the way that's more likely to do it is Lamar goes back to being Lamar Jackson and not new Lamar Jackson. What I mean by that is, don't only run when it's last resort. Run and put pressure on the defense. Make them scared of the run again. And I think that helps put pressure on them opens up the passing game, and then you can get Derrick Henry back involved again. That's what I want to see. I want to see a Lamar be special game because Justin Herbert is going to be special in my opinion. I think he's very special as a talent. And I think he's going to be more special with, using his arm, but he has pretty good motor skills. Pretty good. He's mobile enough. So in reality, I think it's going to take a Lamar being him game. That's what I want to see because I think the Chargers are going to run the ball, put pressure on our defense every once in a while. I just hope Quentin Johnson does not bring his hands every once in a while like he does. I'm just hoping for that. But yeah, I'm hoping for a big Lamar game because I think he knows that even though it wasn't necessarily quote unquote his fault, you can fault a lot of other things for last week. He could have been a lot better. So I'm hoping for him to be a lot better this week and help win the HARBOWL.
Yeah, and then Danny, to go to you, kind of the opposite question. I mean, I feel like the Chargers offense is going to have their way with the Ravens defense, with all due respect. Now, what can the Chargers do to try to limit a Lamar Jackson-led offense that's looking to bounce back and get back in the win column?
I told you they can't.
Give me something. What can Jim Harbaugh cook up?
I think he's gonna try. He's calling his brother and saying, "What is Lamar bad at?" And he's like,
He's gonna say nothing.
He's gonna say nothing. So what they're gonna do is spy Lamar with their best linebacker. They're gonna put Derwin James in the box and have him spy Lamar, and say, Lamar, try to run. I'm gonna mirror all of your throws across the middle to Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Throw these corner routes to Likely. You have to be perfect in the money. If not, Derrick Henry's gonna have to beat us. And we got really good edge rushers and really good defensive linemen that are good at stopping the outside. So they're just going to do that. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Derrick Henry to beat them. And let's see it happen.
Yeah.
Their Tulu Tilapotu, the Hawaiian dude, sick, awesome player. I believe he's a number one rated rookie.
Very good.
Yeah, he's absolutely playing out of his mind.
Is Asante Samuel? He's out right this week.
Probably. The Ginger Demon, he's awesome. Matlock.
Yeah, him as well. The Chargers defensive line has been nothing short of special this year. One of the best groups in the NFL. Do we have any predictions? Any hot takes for this game?
Chargers win by 10 points.
Okay. That's your. Okay, well, I guess that's a prediction and a hot take.
My hot take is that Derrick Henry runs for 150 because they figured out that they should have did that last week or at least tried to. And I have two hot takes. Derrick Henry runs for 150 or Lamar Jackson accounts for 400 yards total.
Okay. Got some Ravens hot take.
I'm going to stick to the 400-yard total.
J.K. Dobbins revenge game.
Oh, and Gus Edwards.
And Gus Edwards.
Don't forget. Gus Bus.
And Jim for the Super Bowl. But
you're right. There's a lot of get back. There's so much get back.
There is a lot of get backs to be had. Yes,
but
indeed.
Don't worry, we have Rashad Bateman. But they got Derwin James, but we got.
I do want to say real quick in this Eagles Rams.
They got Derwin James, but you got Eddie Jackson
off the team. We got Eddie Jackson off the team. My bad. Sorry, he's.
Oh, really?
Yes.
When?
I think today. Let me go find it and make sure.
Sorry, I missed that.
Hold up, real quick. In this Eagles Rams game, Cooper Kupp does a one of those fake motion in and then right back out that killed the Eagles in the Super Bowl. The Eagles just guarded it really well, but it doesn't matter because Darius Slay can't keep his hands to himself. So, no, I guess I have the Chargers in this one to continue the Herbert MVP legacy thing. But if Lamar wins, he's obviously right back in the driver's seat for the award. My hot take for this, though, is that Justin Herbert will have more rushing yards than Lamar Jackson. Now, it could be a little mix of Herbert really getting into his bag and Lamar not running enough. That's probably going to what it'll have to take, but that'll be my hot take, at least. But, yeah, that's pretty much everything we have. Anything else to say before we get on out of here to enjoy the rest of the Sunday night football game?
Enjoy the rest of Sunday night football and do not forget, y'all, NBA Cup is next week, Tuesday and Thursday. If you want to watch some good hoops and plus probably make some money on basketball because that's the only time they actually play, like they care, Tuesday, Thursday next week.
Yeah. And so the Celtics are back in the 1 seed. If the Cavs win, the Celtics just have to win. And they're in, I'm pretty sure. If the Hawks beat the Cavs, the Celtics have to win their game by like a certain amount of points, which I really do enjoy that about the NBA Cup. The point differential is very important, but I want the Celtics to get in. They lost to the Pacers in dramatic fashion. I want to see them win one. Well, okay. I want to see the Celtics win one just to be like, okay, how will a Joe Mazzulla-led team celebrate? Will Joe treat it as this was a competitive thing and we're going to, make the most of this opportunity and celebrate? Or is Joe Mazzulla going to be on his like Joe Mazzulla stuff and be like, yeah, who cares?
I'm going to give you my thought.
I'll say personally, I just don't want to see him win. I'd rather see like a young team win.
Like Jared McCain.
They probably won't make it, but because I want people to celebrate that like how the Lakers celebrated it because they got clowned for it. But one thing I wish basketball took from baseball: celebrate more, pop champagne more, please have more fun.
At the very least, you getting a six-figure bonus. I think this year is 500,000, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's up to 500,000 this year.
$500,000, dude. That means so much.
Chris, you're saying six-figure. You're saying six-figure bonus, bro. That's like almost seven-figure bonus.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And it's like for the guys like for everybody who's not named LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, who are on those 1 year $900K to 2.4 million. That $500K look good. I will be celebrating. Yeah. I'll be popping champagne for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I want teams to. But I know the Celtics won't do it, and I know they're going to be like, we only hang championship banners. I'm like, okay, I'm the Celtics. I got 18 banners. Oh, my star player's going to win the MVP.
Hey, Tony, you want to know why I think they would celebrate it? Not necessarily like go too crazy over it, but I think the Celtics are just as a whole about winning, and also too a lot of players on that team. Not named Tatum Brown, the Walshes, the Hausers, the Peyton Pritchards. I'm sure they would play a pretty decent role in it. So I think they would probably celebrate it for that factor alone.
Dude, that money would mean so much to like Kata, Walsh, Fournette.
On those minimum contracts. Tillman even those guys.
All-time main Red Claws leading scorer, J.D. Davison.
But one of the most athletic people I've ever seen.
Dude, he broke the scoring record for the main Celtics the other day. Someone's like, so like, is this not telling or what? I'm like, all right, can you like chill on him, bro? Like, get it. He's like as watered down Amin Thompson as it gets because like he just cannot shoot, but he can do everything else. I promise you, but he just can't shoot so bad you can't put him on an NBA floor. So,
and last thing to say before we got it, I want to say I was wrong about Dyson Daniels. I didn't think that he would be much of anything on. It's just, I mean, I know it's early, but I was wrong. No. I was wrong.
What's his new nickname? He is one of the sickest nicknames out right now.
Something Reef. Something Reef.
I think it's like the Great Barrier Thief.
That's it.
That's hard. We're on a nickname renaissance, bro. We're so back. Area 51. The Great Barrier Thief. There was another really good one. M&M's goes along with it.
That is fire. That is.
But I'm trying to think of player specific ones, and I feel like I'm not there right now. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from us. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, leave a like, 5-star review, download if you enjoyed. Comment if you can from AP New Freezer, Culture by Migos, DC Comics. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next week, or we'll catch y'all on Thursday.